Did you know that some words can shatter a narcissist's ego? These phrases can trigger intense reactions and reveal a lot about their true nature. If you've ever wondered why certain words seem to affect them so much, this video is for you. Number 1. You're a total selfish person. Telling a narcissist that they are completely selfish touches a very sensitive nerve in their personality. Narcissists usually have a grandiose image of themselves, believing they are superior and deserve more than others. Accusing them of selfishness not only challenges this inflated self-image, but also confronts them with a truth they prefer to ignore. In their minds, they are the heroes, the victims, the protagonists of every story, and any hint of selfishness clashes with this internal narrative. This confrontation can trigger intense narcissistic rage, a disproportionate response to the perceived threat to their self-esteem. Moreover, a narcissist will never acknowledge their own selfishness. While it may seem obvious to others, they interpret it as a misunderstanding of their true nature or an unjust attack. Instead of reflecting on their actions, they are more likely to react aggressively, blaming you for being selfish or devaluing your feelings and opinions. This can lead to an escalation of conflicts, as they will try to reaffirm their superiority and justify their actions at all costs, leaving the other person more frustrated and emotionally drained. Number 2. You're not always right. For a narcissist, being right is not just a desire, it's a necessity. In their world, admitting a mistake is unacceptable because their self-esteem depends on an image of perfection. Telling them they are not always right directly contradicts their fundamental belief of infallibility. This statement can provoke an intense defensive reaction, ranging from denial to open aggression. In many cases, endless arguments may ensue where the narcissist will seek any means to prove they are right, no matter how illogical or distorted their justifications may be. A narcissist's inability to accept mistakes or criticism reflects deep emotional fragility. Instead of considering different perspectives or learning from their mistakes, a narcissist clings to their worldview as a form of protection. When someone challenges this view, they are not just questioning their point of view, but also their worth and competence as an individual. This resistance to criticism and correction can make relationships with narcissists especially difficult, as any attempt at constructive dialogue is constantly sabotaged by their need to always have the last word and maintain an image of infallibility. Number 3. Stop talking about yourself all the time. For a narcissist, conversations naturally revolve around them. Their need to be the center of attention is insatiable, and any deviation from this focus is perceived as a threat. Asking them to stop talking about themselves is a direct blow to their ego and their need for constant validation. In their minds, their experiences and opinions are the most important, and any hint that this is not the case can trigger a negative reaction. They may respond with disdain, sarcasm, or even passive aggression, finding ways to minimize and devalue your own achievements and experiences in response. This behavior stems from a deep insecurity that the narcissist tries to compensate for through constant self-validation and external attention. When asked to stop talking about themselves, they face the reality that they are not as fascinating or important as they imagine. This type of confrontation can make them feel intense humiliation, though they rarely admit it. Instead of acknowledging the problem, they will redouble their efforts to regain control of the conversation and reestablish their position of superiority, creating a toxic cycle of conversation and relationship where your needs and opinions are systematically invalidated. Number 4. No one respects you. Telling a narcissist that no one respects them is like pulling the rug out from under their feet. Narcissists live and breathe external validation. Their sense of self-worth is intimately tied to others' perception of them. Suggesting that they are not respected questions the very foundation of their self-esteem. This statement can make them feel attacked and vulnerable, provoking a reaction of anger or a defensive attitude. In many cases, they will try to divert the conversation to discredit your assertion, accusing you of jealousy or resentment, and may even attempt to manipulate others to reaffirm their status and social respect. Respect, for a narcissist, is not just a matter of courtesy, but of power and control. They need to believe that others see them as figures of authority and admiration. When this image is threatened, their reaction can be fierce. The need to restore their image drives them to extreme behaviors, from manipulation to emotional abuse. They may also resort to intimidation tactics to reestablish their position. As for them, respect is not earned through authenticity or merit, but through fear and manipulation. This dynamic makes any interaction with a narcissist fraught with tension and potential for conflict. Number 5. You're a compulsive liar. Confronting a narcissist with their dishonesty is like lighting a fuse. Narcissists often build their reality on a foundation of lies and distortions, and facing them with the truth is a direct threat to their fragile self-image. When you accuse them of being compulsive liars, you are not only challenging their narrative, but also exposing their vulnerability and lack of authenticity. This confrontation can result in vehement denial and an escalation of hostility. They may respond with counteraccusations, attempt to manipulate the situation to appear as the victim, or even seek to punish the person who challenges them. A narcissist's relationship with the truth is complex and often non-existent. For them, lying is a tool to maintain control and superiority. Admitting that they lie undermines this tool and their sense of power. Therefore, any attempt to confront them with their lack of honesty is perceived as an attack on their very essence. Instead of reflecting on their actions, a narcissist will redouble their efforts to maintain their facade, using any means necessary to discredit you and preserve their illusion of infallibility. This dynamic perpetuates a cycle of emotional abuse where the truth is constantly distorted, and the victim is left trapped in a labyrinth of manipulation and deceit. Number 6. You're not as special as you think. Telling a narcissist that they are not as special as they think is a direct blow to their sense of self-importance. Narcissists usually have an inflated perception of their own relevance and uniqueness. This statement challenges that perception, calling into question the very foundation of their self-esteem. It can provoke an intense reaction of anger, as they feel that their identity and worth are being attacked. In many cases, they will respond defensively, trying to discredit your opinion and reaffirm their own superiority, often with derogatory and dismissive comments towards you. The need to feel special and superior is a fundamental pillar in narcissistic psychology. Any insinuation that they are normal or common is unbearable to them. This type of confrontation can lead them to redouble their efforts to demonstrate their uniqueness, often at the expense of those around them. They may seek new ways to stand out and attract attention, or even attempt to belittle and humiliate others to reaffirm their own importance. This dynamic creates a toxic environment where external validation becomes a constant and exhausting struggle, and any attempt at honesty or realism is seen as a threat to their delicate self-esteem. Number 7. I don't care what you say. Telling a narcissist that you don't care what they say is a way of rejecting their constant need for attention and validation. For them, being heard and admired is crucial to maintaining their self-esteem. When you tell them you don't care, you are challenging their belief that they are the center of the universe and that everything they say must be relevant and interesting to others. This statement can provoke a strong emotional reaction, ranging from anger to contempt, as they feel that their worth and relevance are being questioned. This type of rejection touches a very sensitive nerve in narcissists, who depend on external validation to maintain their inflated self-image. The lack of interest in their words is perceived as an invalidation of their very existence. In response, they may try to regain control of the situation through manipulative tactics, seeking to reinstate their position of superiority. They may also resort to emotional punishment, using silence or indifference to make you feel guilty for not giving them the attention they believe they deserve. This dynamic of constant seeking for attention and validation creates an emotionally exhausting environment for those who interact with them. Number 8. You only care about yourself? Accusing a narcissist of only caring about themselves can unleash an emotional storm. Narcissists are obsessed with their own image and well-being, but they rarely admit it. Confronting them with this truth puts them on the defensive, and their typical reaction is to turn against you. Instead of accepting the criticism, they will accuse you of being the one who only cares about yourself, shifting the blame and avoiding any responsibility for their actions. This tactic, known as projection, is a common way narcissists manipulate reality to keep their self-image intact. The exchange of accusations can quickly become exhausting and harmful. Their insistence that you are the selfish one can make you doubt your own judgments and perceptions, an effect known as gaslighting. This type of interaction not only diverts the conversation from their behavior, but also leaves you emotionally drained and confused. It's important to remember that narcissists rarely change their behavior as a result of direct confrontation. Instead of improving the situation, such accusations usually exacerbate the conflict, intensifying their manipulation and emotional abuse. It is essential to understand that, although knowing these phrases can be helpful to better understand a narcissist and their reactions, direct confrontation with them is not effective and can be emotionally harmful. These phrases are intended to provide you with information and perspective on narcissistic behavior. However, the safest and healthiest approach is to maintain a prudent distance and protect your emotional well-being. Distancing yourself from narcissists and avoiding direct conflict is the best strategy to preserve your mental peace and emotional health. I would like to know your opinion and experience, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.